Ah, you're like, why? Why were you fired up? Something going on at home?
All right, thanks everyone for joining us. First question.
Coach, you want to talk about that fourth quarter?
Yeah, a couple things. There was a timeout in the third where it was like a wake up call type of timeout, right? And they responded, and it's something that, like I said about the Minnesota game at halftime, there was the same type of thing, and they responded. They're just a really, really mentally tough group, and they want to do things the right way. They don't want to let each other down. And I thought going into that fourth quarter, one of the things we talked about was 3 in a row stops defensively, and that we had only had 2, and they were both in the first half. And so going into the fourth quarter, we said that we needed to get, 1 or more of those, and they ended up getting 2 in that fourth quarter. Dee Richards was integral in this. We don't win this game without Dee. There's no question about that. Her defense on Jewel, I don't think Jewel scored in the fourth quarter.
No.
She didn't, right?
No.
And Dee, I think, guarded her for the entirety. So in addition to that, the work she's been putting in on her shot to go 3 for 3 and hit a couple threes and to have the confidence to do that. I mean, she's a really, really special kid. She's tough. She's versatile. She's going to be one heck of a player. And tonight was kind of her first real coming out party. So I can't say how proud I am of Dee. And I would say that that's the best way to talk about the fourth quarter is to talk about her.
So I just want to get you to expand a bit on Dee's offense. I mean, what did she do during the Olympic break that sort of gave her this confidence to go out there and take 3 shots and make them?
I think it's what she's done the whole year. I think the Olympic break gave her some dedicated time to spend on that shot, to continue to get shots. And she's just really diligent when it comes to getting her work in after practice every single day. She's one of the last ones out of the gym. Sometimes she is the last one out of the gym, making sure that she gets her extra shots up, making sure she gets her work in with Dustin. She grabs a couple players all the time and gets shots with them. I mean, she's just really, if she plays, if she doesn't play, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change her demeanor. It doesn't change the way that she approaches her craft. That's why I say special. I don't throw that word around lightly. But Dee really from a personality perspective and a mindset perspective is pretty exceptional.
I also want to ask you a bit about Kylie. She had 17 minutes tonight, although there was that one bunny that she missed on a great pass from Sav.
Yep.
How do you think she stepped up, especially when the Storm were guarding Tosh really well?
Yep. Yeah. Kylie really responded tonight as well. I mean, our bench, I think we had 4 points against Minnesota, and I think we had 30 tonight. And Kylie's response in a couple of ways. One, Mercedes got the ball, went middle as she likes to do, and scored. And then they went right back to her the next play, and Kylie just turned it on. She wasn't going to get pushed. She wasn't going to get bullied. She really did a good job being physical, and that's really Kylie's, big step. She's skilled, she's smart, but she needs to get more physical. And that's something that we've been, really trying to instill in her all year. So there was that. And then there was the offensive rebound putback. That's a shot that she's faded away on all year. It's a shot that she'll rush it. She'll get it and rush it up and miss it. She took her time. She used her body. She gathered, and she made a really, really great shot at a big time point in the game. Kylie's ability to steady us when she's playing good defense, and she's our best, I think, defensive rating player on the whole team. So Kai was really big, and the ability to go to her tonight when, as you said, they did guard Tosh a little bit better. It was huge.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the conversations that you had with the team either throughout the game or after the game? Maybe a little bit about that physicality, not just for Kylie, but for everyone. And maybe also just, turnovers led to a decent amount of points for Seattle. So maybe what were some of the lessons that you gleaned?
This team, as I said, they want to do things the right way. They're definitely, they don't want to turn the ball over, I can assure you. Seattle did a really good job with their pressure. And one of the things that we worked on a lot and have been really vocal about is the need to use ball fakes against this team. And we continue to try to throw the ball over the top over and over and over again. The times that we threw pocket passes, just got the ball in the lane and got a layup or kicked it out for a three. So we had some bad habits, some, little lapses in judgment. And then we had a few advantage situations and fast breaks where we just threw the ball away, just flat threw it away. And I don't necessarily think it was fatigue. It could be excitement. But it's a work in progress for this team. And it's something that, trust me, we harp on. I mean, we did a really good job against Minnesota taking care of the ball. And I think, Seattle being a pressure defense team, they did a really good job of it. I mean, they're really good at what they do. So, the fourth quarter, I think we closed that down a little bit in terms of turnovers. And I know our bench only had 3, which was really impressive given they played 26, 17, and 22 minutes. So that was big.
And kind of going off of that, there's a high chance that the Seattle roster at least might change by the time you get them next time. So is there any way that you have conversations that maybe change how you want them to approach things? Is it more of a focus on some of those things like being aggressive, turnovers? What will be different, if anything, between today and Friday?
Yeah, I mean, the continued preparation for their pressure and ball screen actions is huge. Continuing to work on when we get deep in the lane, not telegraphing passes. One that oh man, it was so nice. She jumped up in the air and she looked it off and she got the defender to rotate and she just threw it too hard to whoever was wide open underneath the basket. It was the perfect play. Dee Dee had one too where she threaded it through 2 people and just threw it too hard. There's those moments where you can see that they know what they need to do and they just need to slow it down just a little bit. And the time and the experience, they're going to start to do that. And then when you start to cut down 5 turnovers, you're cutting 10 points away from them. And then you're adding 5 more field goal attempts for a team that shot 52% from the field tonight. I mean, you can't possibly overemphasize the importance of us taking care of the ball.
Hey, Coach. I got a couple for you. Rebecca Allen, first of all, she was huge tonight, especially in that fourth quarter. She hit 3 threes in the fourth and had that steal into a pull-up 3 for one of them, and also had 4 defensive rebounds when Seattle was really crashing the glass a lot. Can you talk a little bit about her performance?
Yeah, I mean, she was playing the 4 for us down that stretch, and they went big, and they had Ezzy. She and Ezzy were matched up, and so it was a really good time to get Beck involved offensively. Obviously, because that's, Ezzy's a heck of a player and defender, but that's an advantage for Beck to be out on the perimeter against a bigger player. But defensively, the way that she fought, she was so hard to play against. They tried to go inside to Ezzy multiple times, and she'd fight around. She'd get an arm around. She'd play behind and pull the chair and then get back in front. And she just was really cagey. That was fun to watch. Beck, just the way that she fought. And then, yes, the way that she secured rebounds was huge. Not allowing them to get those second chances for a team that's as good as they are. You just can't. You can't give Seattle 2 shots on goal. They're probably going to make it. So, yeah, Beck, again, a bounce back game, right? From coming in and just looking a little sped up and, being frustrated with herself. And I was really proud of how Beck came out tonight and let the game come to her.
And then my second question was, with about 40 seconds left, there was that possession where it was a tie game and Sabrina brought the ball up and kind of dribbled 20 seconds away, and then Benaja banks that shot. What was your thinking there? Not to call a timeout, but to let them go, or what was not go for the 2-for-1? What was the idea there? Was that a momentum play?
Yeah, I mean, the thought with that is we talked about it around the 120 mark, and I'm over there talking to the coaches and discussing different outcomes and then different responses to what might happen, right? Hey, if we score here, should we blah, blah, blah. We decided to let them play, as we've done a lot this year. One, it doesn't allow the defense to get set. That's something that we really like. Yeah, the pass, late shot clock, I think both were from Sabrina to Benijah, and the banked one, and then a 3 she hit in the first half. We call that a live grenade, throwing somebody a live grenade when there's like 2 seconds on the shot clock. And Benijah managed to convert. And what's so important about that is we talked about a couple of shot clock violations we had last game. And it was because people were passing up shots to try to create for someone else. It wasn't like they don't want to, it's like they're trying to create for each other and they don't realize that the time is dwindling. And so I thought that in terms of time and score management, late game, Miles, it's scary to go 2 for 1 in those situations. I wanted us to execute. I wanted us to run down some clock and get a good look at the basket. And we did one of those 2 things. And then fortunately, Benijah just made a heck of a shot. She just stepped up and made a heck of a shot.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
You had touched on this pregame about the must-win circumstance. Now that it's happened, you won. How big is this as far as the playoff race?
Yeah, honestly, this would have been tough to recover from. There are very few times where you have a legitimate chance to steal one from Seattle, as good as they are, with their experience and their continuity. We had to win this, one, because of the outcomes of the last few games for us. And 2, because it was something of a shot in the arm to find out that we didn't have to play against Stewie and Sue. And, I thought for our team's morale and for our momentum that's why this was a must-win game for us. And I think now it keeps us alive in terms of the playoff race. It puts us in a much better position than we would have been had we dropped this one. Going into, as we talked about before the game, just a tough schedule of all good teams. Thank you.
Gigi Spear.
Hey, Coach, nice to see you again, and thank you for being with us. I'm wondering, how important is it to stop the Storm from scoring so quickly in transition? And how are you implementing this fast style of play into your offense?
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons that they're so effective in transition is because a lot of them are off turnovers. A lot of their transition opportunities come off turnovers when you're very disadvantaged as a defensive team trying to get back. And they capitalized. The style of play is different in terms of their defense. Their offense is a little bit more similar to ours. I'd say it's in a much further along state in terms of the way that they move the ball and move off one another. I think that there's the continuity that comes with time and experience together is very evident when you watch that team play. It's just beautiful basketball. It's what, a direction that we aspire to go. But defensively, we have slightly different approaches. And I think that some of that is based on personnel, that they have personnel that fits their defensive system. And so do we. So in terms of application of what they do, there's not a ton that you want to steal defensively for the way that we're built, but what we do want to steal offensively is their crisp ball movement, player movement. It's really pretty to watch.
Thank you so much, Coach. Nice to see you.
Thank you. You too.
Last one for Coach, Jeff Magliocchetti.
Coach, congratulations on the win. My question, Natasha Howard had a bit not as prevalent of a role tonight, but how much has this team benefited from her presence on the court, particularly Dee Richards, who just seems has a lot more confidence since she's been able to work with her both in practice and in the game. So how much has Natasha, away from the box score perhaps, had an impact on this team?
Yeah, I told Tosh after the game, she was a little down, not, distraught necessarily, but just a little down. And I told her that even though it wasn't her, 30-point game like she had against Minnesota, that she still impacted the game in so many ways. That bucket in the post was so big late game. She just has a way of finding the place on the court that she needs to be, and doing those little things. And so it wasn't necessarily even an easy decision to put her in late game, not because of how she was playing, but because of how Kylie was playing. Kylie was just a rock for us, and she was just really solid, and I trust her. But it's what a wonderful thing to be able to turn to the bench and put in Natasha Howard with 3 minutes to go in a game that you need to win. So yeah, Tosh is impacting this team.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Next up, we
Okay. Fair enough.
Thank you.
next up we have Benaja, Sabrina, Beck, and Didi. Just giving a little bit of time to get over to the interview room. Thank you.
Quote me on that. Sure, tweet that one.
Guys, guys, that literally just happened like 2 seconds ago.
No,
I was yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
you said down the line. Obviously, you were a main reason why you stopped doing it. But I also want to ask you about the offense. I want to know what exactly during the break that really got you to a point where you felt confident enough to
Can I take this mask off or like leave it on? At least pull it down. Okay. I definitely think it was just my teammates having confidence in me over break. I think that shined a huge light because it's easy to, hit shots in practice, I want to say, but in practice they kind of make it seem to where this is the best shot we're gonna get, Didi, so you have to take that. I think B and Sab do a good job of doing that in practice, and it was just reciprocated in the game today, and hopefully in games along the road.
Anyway, so I didn't know what you thought was better offensively this night versus against the
I mean, I think a lot of things worked well. I think that was a little evident, but I think just our composure, we got sped up a little bit, but I think, slowing down and kind of dictating what we wanted to run. So whether that was being the post or getting, Beck shots because she had a hot hand or running in transition, I think we really dictated what we wanted to run. And I think that's a huge step in growth for our team. And what we need to continue to do is just finding mismatches and getting the ball where we want it to go instead of letting defenses dictate that for us.
Right. Now that, okay. So coach told us pregame that he said pretty blatantly to you all that this was a must win. So when Jewel went on the crazy run in the third quarter, what sort of clicked that made y'all have to remember sort of what was at stake for this one, be able to sort of turn the corner?
Yeah, I mean, we had a pretty pivotal timeout at a crucial moment for us. And I think that's when we just knew we had to take this game. We need to take it in two hands, and really it's defense first. We say that every game. But in that moment, it was so great that it all clicked with all of us, and we locked her down. We had certain players on her that did a really great job. So yeah, that was big.
Great. And last but not least, Elijah, you just threw that final shot. What was going on up here when you made that?
When I made it,
Before and after.
before, I was just waiting. I wanted to make sure I was in a position that if she needed me, because Sabrina has, taken a lot of last shots and made them. So just making sure that if she wanted to, I was there. If she wanted to pass to me, that I was just available for that. And then, time was ticking and it had to go up. I did not call bank. I was telling, I thought it was going straight in, but look, I will take it anyway, as long as it's a basket and a win, I'm good.
And just to follow up on Jack's question, how big was this win? You could say that obviously you knew what they were missing on the other side, and it was a tough schedule ahead of you. How big was it this win tonight, especially when you're down 10?
I mean, I think we all knew how big a win this was for us. I think honestly, just the growth of our team as well. I think we're just continuing to learn to play together, learn what is helping us win games, what we're doing to lose games, and how it's affected us through this long season. But I think, we're able to continue to learn and grow. And so this game was huge. Every game moving forward is huge. We can't really take,
anything for granted, any team for granted. And so hopefully we'll be able to build from this and learn. And we see them, in the next couple of days. So it'll be exciting to play them again and see how we can, adjust to the mistakes that we made.
Sabrina, you heard what Benaja said about that bank shot. I'm just curious what you were thinking and how you decided, or what led to you deciding to pass it off.
Yeah, I mean, I was just reading, the defense. Tosh was there setting a pick and roll, and I was waiting to just kind of see what they were doing. And I saw B's defender a little bit off of her, and I knew that she was in position to score, and she's hit so many of those shots for us this year, and she works on them. We all do, and I think we all have that confidence in her to take it, and I think she knows that, and that's why she makes a lot of them. And so I saw the pass, and I made it, and I was really happy she made it.
Zach, I'd like to come to you next. Miles asked a great question of Coach about your performance today, and he called your defense cagey.
What cagey?
Cagey,
Ooh,
yeah.
I like it.
Over the years, we've had lots of conversation about your defense, but tonight, obviously, or I should say, Coach felt that it was really coming together, and I'd just love to get your thoughts about how you felt locked in on defense, or if you felt locked in.
Yeah, I feel like defense has been something that I've been working on every single year, and it's something that I can't just let up on. It's a daily thing. It's every single game. You've got to have that mindset. And so, I mean, yes, I've come in and I know I need to be, there's a way of being aggressive defensively. And so I definitely am trying to have that in each game. Yeah.
And then, Benaja, if I can ask you also, we talked to Coach a little bit about that you're going to see this team again. There will likely be changes to that roster, but what are some of the things that you would like to see the New York Liberty be able to focus on? I mean, one thing that we talked about with Coach was perhaps the turnovers, and I think it was Sabrina who mentioned maybe feeling a little bit sped up. Other than those two things, are there any other things that you'd like to see the team work on?
I mean, yeah, I think those are the biggest things are the turnovers, taking care of the ball. Because if we take care of the ball, we shot a pretty good percentage. So if we have those possessions and we're actually getting up shots, it would be in our favor. So going into this, knowing that they're going to make those adjustments, we have to make adjustments as well. And those are two of the biggest ones. But just making sure that, we're continuing to execute, we're continuing to move the ball, we're continuing to play together, we're continuing to be on a string, both offensively and defensively. And, no game is going to be easy, but I think that if we're able to execute and stick the course throughout the whole game, that will be just fine.
I got one for you. You were forced on both ends. You had a career high in scoring, those full court hustle plays on the cherry picking basket at one point, getting back on defense, and you held Jules scoreless in the fourth quarter. Knowing that Jazz was out tonight and that maybe your number would be called earlier and more often, how did that kind of fuel your performance? And also knowing what a major impactful game this was for the whole team.
It was literally just trying to be that player that my teammates can count on off the bench. I think the whole team can attest that we know that our starting five is going to do what they do. It's just about getting your bench to come out and, kind of hold their own while they're getting a rest, basically. And I was just trying to be that player for them.
And then this one's for everybody, or anybody, not everybody. But after falling behind by 15, the team went on a 13-0 run that bridged the third and fourth quarters. And there was like that timeout around that point, but how do you, and this is not the first time, especially at home, that there's been a large deficit that you overcame. There was that Washington game, and then there were a couple, like there was the game winner on opening night. How do you overcome some frustrating whistles at that point, and also just like a supernatural third quarter from Jewel Lloyd?
I think just continuing to stick the course. The game is about ups and downs, and teams are going to go on a run. It was flip flopping. We were up, they were up, we were up. So I think just sticking the course, just believing in one another, fighting together. That's what really allowed for us to come back and get this win. Knowing that we had that crucial timeout, which was very pivotal for the rest of the game. So just understanding, and like I said, just playing together and fighting together. That's what helped us.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Hey, congratulations to all four of you. Thank you for joining us. So, one of the things that Coach Hopkins said was really important over the Olympic break was the fact that you guys took some time to bond together. So, how important was that bonding process, and what have you guys learned about each other through this first two games of the second half?
Yeah, I mean, the break was much needed for, I think, absolutely everyone, a part of this team. It was definitely, we had a rough stretch of 6 games in 11 days in that first half. Bodies were beat up. And so I think kind of being able to go home, everyone kind of get healthy, train, regroup, and come back really energized and wanting to play with each other, wanting to continue to get better and learn has really helped us. And so we're going to take this break as, an opportunity to continue to get better. And hopefully that's going to continue to show in these next 9 games that we have.
And my second question is, how has Natasha Howard, how has her return affected you guys in a positive way in ways that perhaps aren't apparent in the box score?
Tasha's a really good experienced post player. She adds a lot of depth to our team. Just being able to finish around the rim, defend, hit jump shots, whether it's a 3 or a 2, just make tough shots, and she just brings an extra bit of toughness, that we need. So to have her back, is really good for us, and she's been great, all break and in these 2 games, so to have her back is really good for us.
Appreciate your time and insight, all of you.
Last question, Cortland Griffin.
Hi, you guys. Cortland Griffin, 3-point conversion. This question is for anyone. So Coach talked about you guys' energy in the second half of last game, and it seemed like you guys brought that same energy all game, riding the ebbs and flows of the game, the ups and downs. Like you said, you guys were down, and you guys fought back. What was the biggest part of that for you guys?
I think it says a lot just when you are down by, I guess, a 15-point deficit is to not stress and rush and, speed up the game. I think we did it, point by point, and each end, getting those 3 stops in a row and then making sure that we had a good bucket offensively as well in return. So I think that we just took the game each play phase at a time.
Thank you.
Oh, that was fun. Thank you. Wonderful. Oh, thank you guys.
Thank you all for joining. We'll send a copy of the recording shortly.